So when you're doing your interview, are you remembering to work your grid? Check back and see with tip number 87. Welcome back. This is Stan Walters. Welcome to interviewing tip number 87, 101 tips interviewing interrogation. I want to talk about the grid. Now, most of the time you're thinking of a grid or working the grid as being with an evidence of the crime scene or searching for trace evidence, that type of thing. And we're not that far off in what the explanation I'm going to give you here. And I want you to think about what specific I'm instruction for, what am I looking for from the interview that ties everything back to the case itself, to all the specific elements. Now, what I'm going to use here, I've been very lucky in my career over the last 32 plus years at this point in working with a lot of great folks and being on the training platform with them. One of them is Dr. Henry Lee, world-renowned criminalist out of Connecticut. And I've been on several homicide conference training programs with him on the platform, sharing where he's presented his stuff on evidence and I presented his stuff in interview and interrogation. But I've seen him present a diagram that he uses when he wants investigators to think about what evidence you're looking for and the logic behind tying all evidence together. So on the screen here, you're going to see beside me that's in the frame with me. I'm going to put up that grid that he used, Dr. Henry Lee's diagram. And his credit, this is where it comes from. But seeing this, it made me think a lot about what we're really after when we're interviewing a subject. What's a specific goal? What are we, information is critical to complete all the tasks and fill in all the boxes, if you will. So if you notice, the boxes are going to have, there is the crime scene, victims, witnesses, whatever, okay, evidence, and the suspect. Okay, so you see 4 boxes there. Okay, now with the witnesses, they're kind of an external piece, but the main pieces are suspect, victim, evidence, crime scene. All right. What I'm asking you to do is in your interview, are you finding first of all, the evidence that fits in that box, and that your subject is giving you that in detail? Where there's pieces of evidence that the only way that have or possess that detail is they had to be there and be engaged or inactively or created or left some type of evidence on the scene. But you also want to make that connection across. Are they in some way, and how can we show a connection to the victim? Maybe that might be how they knew the victim, how they picked the victim up, how they encountered the victim, their conversations with the person, what specific actions they carried out on them or with them, or what they did to them. So that provides those pieces. Then look at the scene itself. Are the questions that I'm asking, put the subject moving into the scene, being there, moving away from it, bringing something in, leaving something, which now connects to the evidence side. And then their role as a suspect, of course, we typically think with the interview, it's just all done when you go, I did it. You know, that's confession, that's it, I did it. But if you don't have these pieces, all you've done is put the suspect piece together, but you've not filled in the entire loop or the entire grid, as it were. So think of in each box, suspect, how this person plays that role, the specific information they gave you. Does the information connect them then with the victim? And in what way? Okay. And then now with that victim, what is it they were involved with? Or if the victim has to be a building or, for like a burglary or something like that. Okay. Victim can be, human, but as well as also inanimate objects. Correct. Okay. Then the scene itself, how they got there, the transportation there, what they did there, how long they stayed there, how they got back out, what they might have moved, changed, altered, etc. So when you're looking in your interview, before you go in, it's not a bad idea to set that diagram before you and start thinking, what do I need to complete this entire grid and all the angles, all the arrows that interconnect? See those? All those are connected. At least then when you go in, you have that in your mind. And that's why I want you to go through in a little bit of preparation beforehand in your mind, what do I need? Because then when you get in the interview, when you get those dead points or what am I looking for, you're not flying blind, but at least you've got these elements in mind. So when you begin to tie all this together in an information gathering format, I might add, then you're going to tie the grid together with the subject involved and strengthen the credibility and the corroboration of your evidence in the case. So take a look at the grid. Look at your case, look at bits and pieces that you have. Maybe get some random evidence that you might be able to connect with the subject, or the evidence you now know has come from somehow from the victims, or how the evidence is left or found at the scene, making that entire grid work. Now you've got a good, complete information packet you've gotten from your subject. So take a look at the grid and make that part of your preparation process before doing the interview with not only suspects, but victims and witnesses. and watch your cases become more stable and more productive in greater detail. Much better case product when you do that. Good to be with you again. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and if you will, once again, please, go to the website, make sure you get on the LIGI list so I can let you know when there's upcoming classes in your area. Okay, now you got to do 2 opt-in system there, so you click on it, it confirms it, and you got to validate that you want to be on the list. That's to avoid spam. So be sure to check that second link to make sure you validated your subscription is going to be open up to you. If you're looking for programs and in-service training, as professionals, you know that sometimes we miss those points, and we need to keep modernizing and improving innovative interview and interrogation tactics. I'm glad to talk with you about doing that. So until we get back again and we start looking at tip number 88, this is Stan Walters reminding you, be safe.